it's your girl Jay and welcome to Weekly Wrap Up, a show where I talk about the hottest topics in K-pop. Where today, all I wanna do. So let's jump right into it. So last week, a lot of you guys started approaching me about some issue that was going on with Suho from EXO. Apparently, he just randomly started getting a lot of hate, and a lot of people, including myself, didn't know where all of it was coming from. Well, after looking into it, I stumbled upon an issue concerning a V live stream that Suho did about 8 months ago. During the broadcast, Suho discussed his dating age range, which led to the following moment.
나이 차이 몇 살까지? 나이 차이 몇 살까지? 띠동갑까지. 위아래로 띠동갑까지 제가 26이니까 12 빼면 14, 14살에서 38살까지 제가 감당하겠습니다. 예, 그러니까 그 미성년자이신 분들은 뭐 철컹철컹 성인이 되신 다음에 저를 찾아오세요. 아니면 철컹철컹.
So as you can see, many were put off by Suho's comments on dating minors, and honestly, watching the V Live, I was kind of like, Suho, what are you even doing? But what really confused me was why this hadn't blown up already. Like, why were we learning about it only 8 months later? So I was looking around, looking for alternate translations, and I came across a user on Tumblr, shout out to you, yeyewalkways, who kind of broke down the situation. As a Korean Canadian who actually speaks Korean, if you watch the video and ignore VAP's translations, the sequence of events is more like this. Number 1, he says he's willing to date the same zodiac sign, 1 cycle up and 1 cycle down, 1 cycle being 12 years. Number 2, takes a few seconds to do the math. Number 3, realizes that he's 26 and the lower end of the zodiac range is 14. 4, laughs awkwardly and nervously, realizing that 14 is way too young. Number 5, backtracks and says, if I were to translate it literally, but for minors, cholkon, which is the Korean word for the sound of chains rattling, and he's using it to imply jail without outright saying it. In Korean, it doesn't really come off as a joke, so he's not making a joke about getting jailed for dating minors. Finally, then, he says, come find me after you become an adult, otherwise cholkon. He's obviously flustered and aware he said something wrong, and if you watch more, he says, no, I said that I don't want to do that, date minors. Yes, this is poor backtracking on his part, but I'm not sure you can say it's anything more than that. It's obvious to any Korean speaker watching that he made a misstep and is stumbling over his words, trying to make it clear that he doesn't think dating minors is okay. It's important to remember that this was an unscripted live. So overall, it just looked like a misunderstanding. My eyes are on you, and the whole thing's a pretty old situation, so moving on. It seems like BTS leader Rapmonster is going to be going on a small hiatus. BTS's company Big Hit addressed the situation, stating, "Hello, this is Big Hit Entertainment. We are here to inform you that BTS member Rapmon will not be able to perform at the K-pop World Festival taking place today in Changwon." Back on the 29th, Rapmonster, who was focusing on the new choreography practice for the comeback for the second album, was sent to orthopedics as he felt pain. The expert recommended that he control himself from any excessive activity because it could lead to stress fracture. There were no other concerns found in the x-ray, and his knees and other parts were generally in good condition. In order to improve the symptoms, he'll be regularly receiving physical therapy. As the symptoms were discovered at an early stage, the doctor claimed that he'll be able to recover after a break. In consideration of the doctor's statement, Rapmonster will be taking a break to focus on his condition so he can make a healthy comeback. Rapmonster will not be able to participate in the performance scheduled today, but the other members of BTS will be joining the event. In addition, the other 6 members without Rapmon will be attending the Busan 1 Asia Festival on October 1st. We apologize to the fans who greatly looked forward to BTS's performance at K-pop World Festival and Busan 1 Asia Festival. All the BTS members will be greeting fans bright and healthy during their comeback promotions. So it looks like with some rest, Rapmonster will be doing good, but But I just feel, I don't know, like it's not that I don't trust anything that's being said. I feel like I'm always gonna be kind of suspicious, especially around a comeback time or promotional cycle, just because, and it's not even a situation where it's just the company, but the artists themselves always seem like really guilty and sorry when they have to miss out on promotions because they're sick, and they try to get back and at it as soon as possible. And it just makes me weary sometimes of whether, you know, whatever company is saying or whatever is being told to us is the truth, or they're just trying to make it look better so fans don't worry. And so if they do come back, people aren't questioning, well, did you really heal, or is it just because you're trying to make that quick comeback? But when it comes to Big Hit, I feel like so far they've been pretty good in terms of, you know, trying to keep the boys healthy and getting them care when they need it. So for now, Big Hit, I'ma let you breathe. I'ma let you breathe. So I hope Rapmonster can recover well, and Wings is about to be lit, y'all! Moving on. So Tiffany has made her first big public appearance this week when she performed at the Busan One Asia Festival along with her other members of Girls' Generation on October 1st. But this is a big deal because this may mean that she has officially ended her reflection period that started shortly after her flag scandal blowing up. For those of you who don't know about the scandal, I covered it previously, so click to the side if you want more on that story. Now, of course, there's a lot of people who are torn about this comeback, many arguing that she's come back too soon, that because she was seen using Instagram during her reflection period, she hadn't properly reflected and she doesn't really understand the severity of what she's done. But there are people who feel as though she's reflected long enough and, you know, we're just waiting for her to make a comeback and happy she's here. Now, in my personal thoughts, and this is not me trying to negate the severity of the situation or the insensitivity of her mistake, but plainly put, she had to come back sometime. I mean, like I said, some people feel as though she's reflected long enough. Some people feel like she needs to reflect for at least a year, some people 5 years, some people 10 years. I mean, if we're honestly speaking, there's probably some people who never want her to come back. But if she thinks she's ready and she thinks she's reflected, I mean, then come back. The thing is though, she's now gonna have to kind of deal with all the hate and criticism that she's gonna get for coming back. But if I'm honestly speaking, no matter how long she reflects, I feel like that hate and criticism will always be waiting for her. No matter if she comes back, you know, right now or in a couple months or in a year or so. The only way I feel like she could like totally avoid the criticism that's gonna come at her for, you know, the length of her reflection period is if she reflected for like 10 years. But then at that point, she probably wouldn't have anything to come back to. She's gonna have to roll with the punches for now, but in my opinion, I honestly feel like if you wait too long, you kind of certify that the #1 most important thing and focus of your career is that scandal. I mean, just from like a plain point of view, part of image rebuilding after a scandal is reminding people why they even cared about you in the first place. And while I do feel like reflecting is necessary and appropriate, doing it for too long kind of makes your scandal define you. Take Park Bom, for instance. YG fans are about to drag me, but I personally feel if the length of her reflection period wasn't at her will, like she wasn't like, okay, I just don't want to come back yet, I don't want to come back, and it was YG's doing not letting her come back, I definitely feel like they did it for way too long. Aside from the Mama performance, it's been like a good 2 years since Bomb or 2NE1 have made a comeback into the industry. That means it's been 2 years since the most relevant thing and current thing about Park Bom that you can discuss is her scandal. And honestly speaking, that's mostly done in a negative light. That means 2 years of people just sitting and like rehashing how the events played out and growing more and more disdain for the situation if that's how they initially felt. 2 years of fans kind of having to bide time and wait around. I mean, you know how many people probably joined the K-pop fandom in general since the Bomb scandal? And so the only thing that they kind of know her by is the girl who got into that scandal because there's nothing current of hers to look at or know her by. So if she would have, you know, just reflected for a while and then made a comeback, yes, she would have gotten hate, but at the same time, some of that same hate is still sitting here waiting for her. So at least with the hate, she would have activities, songs, and, you know, moments in her career to look back on as well. So personally, of course, I don't know Tiffany, so I don't know if she truly feels like she's properly reflected or she's just tired of sitting at home. But I do kind of understand why she wouldn't want to keep away for too long. She just now has to stand by that decision and get ready to endure all the critique and criticism that is gonna come her way now. So that's it for this episode, but as always guys, I wanna know what you think. Do you think Tiffany hasn't reflected long enough? Do you think her reflection period was insincere? And if so, how long do you think is proper for someone to reflect? Are you shocked by this news that BTS's Rapmonster will be taking a break? And lastly, how did you feel about the Suho scandal? Do you think he deserved to be dragged, or do you think people were being too mean? Let me know down below, and as always guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like the video. If you love the video, make sure to share the video. That's it for today, and see you next time with Weekly Wrap Up. Bye.